I'm 3 floors below ground level right now, in a dungeon, literally in a dungeon. I just thought it was the best and the most appropriate place to make a video at this point in time, I think. Yeah, it's like go underground. Because as you know that we atheists are the lowest form of life on earth, and we have to hide underground like rats. So the purpose of this video was that after that dreadful accident in Spain, in that holy site that people go on pilgrimage, I had no sooner collected my thoughts to do a video on that than I hear this evening in Italy a coach driver bringing a party after a pilgrimage, also drove over a cliff or something like that. God is very busy these days. God is very busy. Now, the thing about it is what's interesting, and what we atheists will always be accused of, being insensitive bastards, is pointing out the obvious at this point. Just let's go back to the case in Galicia with the train accident, shall we? All I heard in the media was that, and by the way, my heart goes out and my sympathies to all families. I lived in Spain for many years and it's very close to my heart. My wife is Spanish. It's my second home. It meant a lot to me, or it means a lot to me. But that won't cut any slack. It cut any slack because, you see, Sky, you're an atheist. And as I said, we're the lowest form of life on earth. Anyway, the point I was going to be succinct about, try anyway, is that all I heard from the media was that, and masses will be said all over Spain, and no doubt there will be in Italy tomorrow as well, you know, for the dead. And it's not being insensitive, it's just that, what if in the train wreck in Spain, what if there was atheists on that train? What if there were Muslims or Jews or Jehovah's Witnesses or Buddhists or whatever else, but just presumably suddenly all Catholic? They're not, everyone. I lived in Spain for a long time, and trust me, the Spanish are not Catholic. Everyone presumes it's the most secular country. That's why I lived there. The most secular country I've ever lived in. The home of the Inquisition, yes. The home of Felipe II and the Inquisition and all that. But believe it or not, coming from Ireland, was the least religious country I've ever lived in. Very, very progressive. But all, you know, I mean, the Catholics can have their masses and they can sort of, whatever, and be hypocrites for a day and be, and you know, memorials because people died. So anyway, the point is, everyone, what I wanted to say is that what makes me sick to my stomach is that the continual blackmail that atheists have to suffer, that every time there's a tragedy, that we can't do sympathy, we can't do empathy. It has to be immediately into, in this case, a Catholic church or some other thing. I'm wondering, you know, I mean, in the example of another tragedy, 9/11, I remember there was I do believe it was a kind of a neutral setting. There was a concert, there was poetry reading, there was music and whatever, because you can't do an overtly whatever Christian or Jewish thingy in 9/11, because a lot of people would be offended by that. Why wouldn't they? And you know, but it's just that the media, or perhaps it's the media, maybe it's not true, you know, but it's just that the media that I've been listening to since the tragedy in Spain, and this new, as I speak, you know, tragedy unfolding in Italy, you know, it's just that immediately into a church. Whatever the hypocrisy, the people who never go. It's like if I had lost a friend in that, and then I'm presented at the back of the church, and I thought, well, hey, you know what? Just go along with it, bless yourself, and do all this stuff going on. And someone says to me, hey, you're that fucker. You're that fucker. You're that friend of Richard Dawkins. You're an atheist. What are you doing here? I could turn around and say, well, what are you doing here? Because you don't go to church either. So anyway, everyone, it's really sickening, you know. It's just that, because everything that we stand for, everything that we have tried to establish, I'm not talking about people can't mourn. As I say in español, lo siento mucho de todo el mundo. It's not that, it's just that the presumption that you have to go into some religious voodoo site, whether it be Catholic or Muslim or Jewish or whatever else, you know. So my question to every cunt that presents himself in a Spanish church or a mosque or whomever victims would say, where was your God? What's wrong with your God? What's wrong with God? He's all powerful, he's all loving and forgiving, or else he's a useless fuck. What do you think about that? Think about it. Where was your God? Why go into a church and kiss his ass and say, Almighty God, el nombre del Padre, Espíritu Santo, and all that? Why? Where's your God? Where was your God before the train crash? Oh, for the Italians who just died tonight, where was your God then? This fucking Jewish God. Yeah, I know, people get all philosophical and said, well, in the book of Job, that's the beauty of it, you know, the Jews, they argue, Job argues with God and he fights with God, but God is still God. He's a pretty useless cunt in my opinion. So I'm down in the bowels of a building. I'm 3 floors down. I have to whisper in the night. The lowest form of life on earth. If you thought it was bad being a dissident of some kind, politically, or an ethnic thing, you know, try being an atheist. Next episode, I'll tell you how I was sacked from my job in the egalitarian institution of the European Parliament for my atheist activism. I'll tell you about that one next time. Finishing, my condolences to the families of those lost in Galicia. Okay. Cheers everyone, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye, good night.